play the violin.
Welcome to tonight's show. You're with Tom, Brian and Steve, and this is NRL from the Sidelines. Tom was just telling me how he doesn't saunter in. No, that was Brian, wasn't it?
Yeah.
No, you were saying you don't saunter in, not me.
Listen, he's in a bad mood, everyone. Be gentle on him today.
That's right.
In a very bad
At
mood.
least for the first 10 minutes.
That's right.
Oh,
Okay.
I've been in a bad mood all day, don't worry.
Okay.
No, we're going to be gentle on you for the first 10 minutes.
We're going to have a fun show tonight. We've got a lot to talk about with round 3 of the NRL. And firstly, gentlemen, how are we? Tom, you doing well?
I'm okay. Just should talk about this as it was a bit of an embarrassment last week.
Why? What was an embarrassment last week?
Well, it was an embarrassment when it had your face on it, Tom, but at the moment it's an embarrassment.
This one?
Yeah, that's
Correct.
good. I like that.
Hey, we could do this.
It was all a bit juvenile, but as I said to somebody, I've just completed my working with children certificate, so I'm pretty well prepared now, so that's okay.
Brian, how are you?
I'm miserable, Steve, miserable.
For many reasons, which we are going to talk about later.
Many reasons, and one that we're not going to discuss, which is the Australian cricket team, but this is an NRL show, so thank goodness for that.
Sorry, what's cricket?
Oh, please, Steve, don't be a Philistine. Continuing on.
You couldn't even spell Philistine. Don't even try.
F.
Right.
Did you say F?
Oh dear. Okay, let's get started. Round 3 of the NRL, gentlemen, started on Thursday night.
Correct.
With Melbourne against North Queensland. Melbourne winning 30-14. Tom, what's going on with the Cowboys? They don't seem to be the same team they were last year.
Well, I tipped an upset, but it didn't happen.
Why would you do that?
Well, I just, maybe my tips have been so rubbish the last 2 weeks that I thought I might try to cause an upset. Well, I honestly don't know. I didn't see the press conference this week, but I heard in the news that Paul Green is cautioning his players that they're believing the hype.
Yep.
And they've come out and said, and well, in a very veiled way, said that they're angry about that they don't like the coach suggesting that. But I actually think whether it's going to bite him in the face, I don't know. That's probably not the right term, but come back and smack him in the face or whatever. That I think he's trying to do that to rev them up and say, "I'll show you." Reverse psychology. It might work. It might. They might be disastrous.
Michael Morgan came back a bit early, perhaps. He didn't look himself. He was great in defence, though. Very solid in defence.
Yep.
But I was not impressed at all with North Queensland. Cohen Hess was good.
Yes.
But I've got to say, I wasn't overly impressed with Melbourne either.
No, Melbourne are
I think
not
both
playing
of them
well.
have started a bit flat. Yeah.
But are Melbourne missing Cooper Cronk?
Well, Brody Croft's been average.
Well, and they also came out and said that he's the next Cooper Cronk, but he's not playing like it and hasn't for the last couple of years.
To be fair to him, he's a young fella,
course.
and there's a lot of expectation on him, and he's probably just not there yet. But I think that both teams, their average is, another team's excellent.
No, see, I disagree. Come on.
You won't let me finish, so it doesn't matter. But I think that they play some good football, but they're right off their best at the moment.
Yeah.
And that's still good enough to beat the Cowboys, etc.
Well, that's the point. Melbourne bombed maybe 4 tries. 4 very clear tries.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that score could have been 50. It could have been really embarrassing.
Yeah.
And North Queensland, apart from about 10 minutes of the game, really weren't in it.
No.
So, I don't know.
No. Okay, let's move on.
Wait. One thing. I have a point to raise.
Uh-oh.
Yes, Stephen, you asked me last week, Billy Slater and fullbacks. Was it last week or the week before?
Last week I asked you, is he one of the best fullbacks ever? Well, because that was a question they were asking on Fox.
Yeah, look, I want to take issue with the commentators.
Which ones? Us?
No, not us. We're brilliant.
Oh, okay, sorry.
With the with the very biased television commentators. There was Big Nelson scored a try in the 77th minute.
Yep.
Do you recall that, Tom?
I don't remember.
No. Well,
I did see
as it was occurring, Billy Slater played the ball immediately before that.
Yep.
So made a bit of a jink, went out to the right. Cameron Smith in at dummy half, got the ball away to Nelson, who had a great step and through and powered over. Instead of talking about how the big man has great footwork and everything else. You know what it was? Oh, Billy Slater, great fullback. Look at how he got up and played the ball. I'm going, isn't that what they do?
Yeah.
Like,
That's right.
we know that he's good, but you don't need, like, Billy Slater played the ball quickly.
Yeah.
I just thought, oh, seriously, come on, people.
Was that from a pay TV station or a free-to-air station?
It was a free-to-air one.
maybe. Well, I think he's got a contract.
All right, let's move on because we've got a few controversial games to talk about. Okay, and the next one is just that. Canterbury Bulldogs against the Penrith Panthers at ANZ Stadium. Canterbury winning 20-18. Now, there's been a lot of talk about one of the first tries that the Dogs scored, whether it was interference or not. Now, on the TV, the bunker said they allowed the try because there was minimal contact. Now, the point is, it was contact. Whether it was minimal or whether it was a great deal, it was contact. So, is that the rule? And there seems to be, it changes every week, this obstruction rule. It does seem to change on a regular basis. So,
I don't know. I honestly, I've tried to understand the obstruction rule, and I thought I got it last week, but then I think somebody else's interpretation changed. But I was thinking, well, Maloney had a guy run into him, but then he was able to push off and attempt to tackle at the guy who scored the try. So maybe that's what they based it on.
but we've always had it that if you stop in the line and the defence is coming across, then it's an obstruction. You're supposed to run through the line.
Yep.
That didn't seem to happen, but they said because it was minimal contact. Now, look, he might not have made it, they might have still scored, but it's interesting. And now, again, Penrith had a very slow start, went out or got behind 14-0, which seems to be their thing. And then they started playing football and nearly won it. But, you know, look, it happened early in the game. They were probably never going to win. They lost
Cleary.
Nathan Cleary.
And he went off fairly early too, didn't he? Just
he
before
went off
half-time.
early, yeah.
Actually, no, he got injured early in the game, but he stayed on until half-time.
And he's out for 10 weeks.
Yeah, and you wonder too whether, in fact, him staying on worsened that injury. It's hard to tell, but that's a big blow.
I'm just wondering... I wasn't overly impressed with the Bulldogs either.
Yeah, but in saying that, Moses Mbai, he's been a revelation at fullback.
He really has.
Hey, one of the greatest fullbacks of our
No, let's not go there. No.
Yeah, no, he's certainly spark. He's been a spark, hasn't he? In fullback.
He's been dynamite.
Yeah.
Like really has been good.
And Josh Morris on his 200th. It was the 200th game for the Bulldogs. I think
so.
Yeah, scored that runaway try. And gee, he showed some speed.
Yeah, I know. Did Des Hasler ever try Mbai at fullback?
No.
Not to my knowledge.
He should have. Maybe he should have.
There was always talk, but he never did it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can see the way they're playing now. We're just not setting the world on fire, but the freedom they're playing with now, you can see what Des was enforcing.
Yeah.
You know, Leisha wasn't running out of dummy half. Mbai, looked clueless.
Yeah.
But he looks terrific now.
All right, let's move on to Campbelltown Stadium. The next controversial game.
Wow.
Okay, where the West Tigers and the Broncos winning it 9-7.
That was the first tip I won, and I didn't deserve it.
You didn't deserve it.
No,
None of us did.
And I was thinking, I don't deserve to be one out of three because that was a travesty.
I mean, I've got to tell you, I'm so impressed with the defence of the Tigers. It is remarkable, considering it's not only this game, but their first two games, it's one try. That's all they did. So it's and
they've played Melbourne, the Roosters, and the Broncos.
I mean, they're rubbish in attack. Let's face it. But
but that's probably because they're putting so much effort into their defence.
Maybe.
But you know what? Everyone will tell you that defence wins games. They get their defence right. They can turn their attack around.
And Benji's turned the clock back.
Oh yeah, Benji's
been
really
superb.
Well.
I mean, hopefully his injury is not too bad, because he has been superb. And I think to myself, geez, if I'm Josh Reynolds, where do I come back in?
He comes back in at hooker probably.
Well, I've said that for a while. He should be considered as a hooker.
Yeah, look, I mean, Brisbane weren't that good,
no,
but they won. They found a way to. Well, the rest found a way.
Without scoring a try, by the way.
Yes.
3 penalty goals and a field goal without scoring a try.
Yep. So
Now-
there's nothing. I don't know what to make of that game, really.
We have had 15 years of golden point where refs don't give a penalty. And we've all screamed about it. There should have been a penalty there in golden point. But it's one time they decided
And
to
at
do
best
it.
it was dubious.
Oh, at best.
Oh, there were plenty of times when Brisbane were miles offside at the marker, and there was no penalty given.
Yeah.
So I don't know how you made that call above the others.
So this is a time where I would have thought a point each was a very, very fair result.
Well, I've always said for years now, let's get rid of it. I've had enough of golden point. It just cheats somebody. And it's not fair.
Very unfortunate. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not much to say about that game either, though, really, is there? Apart from
It
that.
wasn't an exciting game.
I thought it was a great game. I loved it. It was very, very defensive.
It had the Broncos in it.
So?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah. We're not making
Two games worth.
we're not making any comment on Steve's favourite teams.
No.
Neither should you.
Hey, did you see that? That's an admission. Neither should you. He didn't deny it.
No, you
he
shouldn't
didn't
be
deny
making,
it.
You shouldn't be making a comment on any teams.
No.
Except for
Except for
valid,
his favourite teams.
intelligent comment. That's what the show's about. Valid, intelligent comment.
Shall we talk about the next controversial game?
No, we'll talk about, the Warriors and Canberra Raiders. I thought you were talking about the Manly game, but that's coming up. GIO Stadium, Canberra Raiders and Warriors. Warriors winning 20-19 with Johnson kicking two field goals.
And it was 3 or 4 minutes before the end that
3 minutes.
it was 19-12 to the Raiders about 3 minutes out, and that's just unbelievable. It was
Wow.
hard to believe. And Isaac, that try that Isaac Lou scored was opportunistic, but he had a gaping hole.
Daily Telegraph today had some statistics on close finishes, and the Raiders are the worst when it comes to close finishes in games under 6 or less.
Yep.
They just can't.
What?
But they shouldn't be getting that close anyway. I mean, as in they should
no.
be scoring more points anyway.
Yeah, but I
They're just not
guess
scoring
you can win games by winning them by 6 and under. You just got to learn how to hold out those last few minutes.
That's hard to do, though.
Oh no, not.
And this halves rotation that Ricky's got going.
That's not working.
No, Austin off the bench, Caesar and Williams, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's
look,
just not
I hope they don't change it next week, but I think that he needs to change it for
Are
them
you
to
playing
win.
next week? Yeah.
All right, let's move on to
The
shall
next-
we say match of the round.
The next controversial game.
South Sydney Rabbitohs up against the Manly Sea Eagles at ANZ Stadium. South winning 34-6.
Now, can I just check how much did you win by last week?
It doesn't matter.
I think he won 54-0.
Okay. And what was the score again?
34-6.
So they won 34-6.
No, we won 34.
Oh, you really?
Didn't you watch a game?
My goodness.
It was the best
That's really
game of
bad.
the weekend.
Gee. So
Right?
You've got 2 minutes, Steve. Go.
I was going to give you the same.
Go.
A minute each way.
No,
South,
go.
South was superb. I've got to say, I was very impressed. Johnson had his best game at fullback that I've seen him play for a long time at fullback. I think young Dowie had a great game.
Is it 2 minutes yet?
No. You're going to give me some time. You're going to give. Thank you. Burgess brothers had a great game. Each of them, all three.
yeah. What the little I saw of that game, I
What do you
thought
mean the little you saw?
I didn't see a lot of it. I was busy doing important things. But I saw George and Tom really very good. But they were
Let
terrific.
Steve talk.
Anyway, sorry.
Why? No. You guys can come into it.
No, we're not going. I want to come into it.
What I thought was interesting though was the possession was 58% to South. Cherry Evans had the worst kicking game on fifth tackle plays that I've seen him have for a long time.
It wasn't only him. It was Croker and Jake Travojevic. They all had Manly's last tackle options were absolutely terrible. We put no pressure on Souths at all.
No.
And that was evidenced by the very first try where, pressure. And I thought, here we go. Little kick in, straight into AJ, who...
Oh, that was the second try.
It's like,
Yeah.
are you kidding me? What a soft try.
Yeah.
And you know what made it worse? In my mind, like, I understand mistakes happen and runaway tries and all that, and I'm sure you guys will appreciate this too. When you see, the exhausted attempt of someone just to push him out wider so that he doesn't score under the post and make it 6, and you think, yeah, that was a really bad play, but I know my team's not giving up.
Yeah.
One player chased him.
Yeah. Carousel. Yeah.
One. At that point, I was actually thinking, there's not much coming back from this.
Well,
The effort from Manly just wasn't there.
No.
So can you think of a reason, particularly a specific reason why? I mean, everybody's saying they believe their hype. Tapau comes out and says we're going to win the comp.
Yeah, but did you?
It was a hot day last week.
Did you watch that interview with Tapau?
No.
No. Well, don't put. Well, he did say it, but it was a bit different from that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look,
We talked about that last week. We were on the way home because we were trying to work out why it was so bad. And we thought maybe we talked about the fact it might have been the heat from the previous week, but South played in the same heat the previous week against Penrith. So it can't be that. Look, I honestly, to me, it was just they were so excited from the week before, they just never came down and got real about it, and thought that that's the same thing they were going to do this week.
Yeah, I don't know. Look, it's funny. If you were to look at all of the teams in the comp, the difference between the very best and the worst, it's a flip of a coin. It's take 2 players out of that team and 2 players in that team, and all of a sudden it's reversed. I'm not suggesting that my team is poor, but when a couple of decisions went against them very early, and it was nearly like, I don't know, it was like, oh, this isn't our night.
Yeah.
And that was it. It was like the game's over.
And you would have thought if they were thinking that at half time, that something would have sparked them at half time and said, okay, we've got to wake up, we've got to get into this. Honestly, from the kickoff in the second half, you were dragged over the sideline.
Yeah, and it was Adam Fanoa-Blake, like the biggest guy on the field.
Yeah.
Yeah. Barrett said that they were really flat.
They were more.
And when you're flat, you just
they were more than flat. They really weren't good. Now that was a double header that we went to, and Brian and I sat in the rain and watched our beloved teams go around.
Yep, and you know what? Despite that, it was still a game with lots of tension and toing and throwing, and to be honest, Souths were on their game. There are a couple of opportunities there where just a few little things went differently, and that scoreline would have been reversed. It was.
No.
Well,
not the scoreline, but the game would have been a lot closer.
Yeah, it was a game that for a long time.
To say that.
No, it was a game that was for a long time could have gone either way.
Well, not the first 2 minutes, but okay.
Jeez, you're a harsh man.
Accept that.
Ding.
But we did stay for the second game.
Okay.
Yeah. And
that was the segue into the second game. Tell me what you thought of the two teams. Now, let me just set this up. Parramatta and the Cronulla Sharks. Sharks winning 14-4. Two teams that most people would have picked in their top 4. Brian, what did you think?
I thought that was just about the most lackluster game I've seen in 12 months.
It was a shocker. Neither side wanted to be there. I mean, they just had no. Look, I'm sorry, they had no heart.
They both scored 1 try. Sharks scored 14 points and only 1 try.
But it doesn't but you can have a game where there's 1 or 2 tries scored and it be a end-to-end, side-to-side, fierce battle and big hit-ups. It was dull.
Well, compare that to the Tigers game, which had 1 try scored in it.
Which wasn't dull. It was a good game.
It was a good game. This was terrible.
Honestly, it was...
I've got to say, I'll be surprised that on the performances in the first 3 weeks, and I know it's only 3 weeks, neither side will make the 8. I've got to tell you, neither side will make the 8. Cronulla might scrape in, Parramatta won't go in.
How?
Honestly, I thought after being smashed 54-0 by Manly the week before, Parramatta would come out and say, well, okay, let's draw a line in the sand. That's over.
Yeah.
This is us.
Time to stamp put our stamp on the game.
Another one
Mitchell
of my ridiculous
Moses.
decisions.
Mitchell Moses had no runs, made no meters, and missed 6 tackles.
Yeah, what's happened to him? And Norman. You know?
And Norman, he seems to be playing with no confidence.
I think Nathan Brown was about the only person I saw who was having a go on that team.
Yeah,
He made some
and
good runs.
really, and in saying that, the best player in the Cronulla team was Trent Hodkinson.
Yeah.
Like, he looked like he wanted to be there and was keen to play. But you know, Andrew Fafita was, it says here he made 180 metres. How?
It was a lot sideways, I think.
He was stopped every time he had the ball.
I think it was sideways. He made a lot of sideways meters.
I honestly, I don't understand what is wrong with these two teams.
No, me neither.
They were not good.
Me neither.
Well, at that stage I was 1 out of 6 tipping. And the one tip I got was the one that I didn't think I deserved.
So you need to tip South more.
Oh,
Okay.
Don't ever do that.
All right, let's move on to Clive Bergerhofer Stadium in Townsville, I believe.
My favourite.
Where the Gold Coast Titans played a home game against St George Illawarra and it got smashed 54-8.
Wow.
Did you see that game?
Yes, I did.
I was in transit.
Now, Barry has asked me to remind you both, as he does, that not only did they win 54-8, but like last week, they had a player sent to the bin for 10 minutes. And during that time, they scored tries, whereas the Titans didn't.
Filthy team.
Filthy team.
Yeah, bin. Get binned every week.
Every week.
Yeah. What are you going to
You
say
asked,
to that, Barry?
You asked me to tell them to say it, and that's the response.
No, well, I don't know. I don't know what's happened. The Titans from last year, they put in effort.
Yeah.
And effort.
But the Titans started this year with effort.
They did. They did. Look, but there was just, you know, the Dragons fans that I know were banging on this year. Oh, we've signed Ben Hunt. You know, now we've got a halfback, and I thought they've signed Ben Hunt. You know, like, okay.
Yeah.
Their forward pack is just a monster pack.
Yes.
You know, I would say it's the form pack of the comp. James Graham, Paul Vaughan, Tyson Frizzell, Jack DeBellin.
Yep.
They're just monsters.
Yeah, and I tell you what, the way Widdop's playing at the moment, he's in superb form, and maybe it's having Ben Hunt, who doesn't seem like he's in great form, but I guess maybe he's doing enough to let Widdop do what he has to do.
You know, I noticed something on the weekend about those two, Widdop and Hunt. Last year, both of them were organising the team, struggling to get runs on the board.
Yeah.
They were really confined within what the team was doing.
Yep.
This year, there's a break in play. They're there. They're ready to go. They're absolutely killing it. They're doing exactly what we want our halves and 5/8s to do. They're playing what's in front of them.
Now, it is only week 3. This stage last year, St George are doing exactly the same things.
Well, they weren't winning by 50 points.
No, that's true.
I think they only had one 50-point win last year against Manly.
All right. Listen, I'm not sure we've got time to talk about the next game.
Go away.
If you want to...
Do we have to?
Brian,
What? Yeah, look, I'm...
Look, it's a game that was...
No, I could keep talking about...
These are the two people who say I'm totally unbiased, you know. I'm such an unbiased person.
No, we
Brian,
never said that about you.
Steve.
Right. Allianz Stadium, Sydney Roosters playing Newcastle Knights. Roosters winning 38-8. This was billed as the comeback, the grudge match for Mitchell Pearce. It didn't really end up being the hype that it was looking for, but it was never going to.
Yeah.
No.
Look, I mean, you can't fault Mitchell Pearce's effort. He tried really hard.
I can't fault Newcastle at all. I think they did well considering.
Yeah. Yeah, look, the Roosters hit their straps. There was a period in there for about 10 minutes before halftime where they dropped balls and they're giving away penalties, which was a bit dumb. But either side of that, they were really right. They were really on. And I tell you what, the combination between Cronk and Keary, absolutely superb. Luke Keary's, I know you hate me talking about this, but he's such a great player. He's such a courageous little bugger. Seriously, I mean, he's just had a broken jaw repaired.
He won the grand final with us. I don't mind you talking.
He just had a broken jaw, and he takes on the line. I mean, he scored that try, individual try. just guts. You know, he's just superb. And you know, early contender for try of the season, just before half time. Chip kick
I'd
from
say so,
Cooper
actually.
Cronk.
It was pretty good.
It was pretty good. And the most defining thing was that handoff from Luke Geary. You know, excellent try.
So that's the try. Well, what about the try before that, where Latrell Mitchell was half a metre offside?
Well, he wasn't half a metre, but he was offside. I agree.
Oh, would you know? You were there at the game watching it. I was watching it on TV going, hang on, it was offside.
I just watched it on replay now, and he was offside. There's no doubt. But it wouldn't have made a difference.
There are two tries there that were questionable as far as the commentators were concerned.
But you'll always pick holes in the Roosters team anyway.
Yes.
And in the end, it's up to the bunker, not up to you.
Only if it's justifiable.
and it usually is.
Sure.
How good is Kalen Ponga going?
Very well.
Oh my goodness! I thought they wasted their money buying a kid from reserve grade in North Queensland with potential. Wow, he's lived up to every bit of that potential. Let me tell you.
although they did nullify him pretty well last night.
Don't know, still ran 171 metres.
Look, he's a great talent.
2 years' time, he'll probably be playing for the Roosters because
he's a great talent.
Yeah, 2 years' time. Yeah, they'll get rid of Flick Teddy, get the next one in.
Yeah.
Well, Teddy's been
Teddy's
quiet.
been very quiet.
He's been very quiet.
Yeah.
But look, Ferguson had another fantastic game. 3 games in a row where he hasn't been man of the match, but he's been close.
Actually, he's. I must admit, Blake Ferguson has convinced me that he, at this moment in time, if we're picking on form, would be in the State of Origin team.
All right.
He's been good.
Okay.
Quick question. Mitchell Pearce, did you say that he played all right?
I think he played well.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he did.
Maybe we're watching a different game.
Or maybe you don't know what you're talking about. Tom, since you're back...
Damn it, he's too quick for me sometimes.
Since you're back...
Ladder?
Yeah, you've got to fulfil your part of the contract.
Oh, this is good. I like this. Especially this week.
Terrible ladder.
Okay. Ladder. The St George Illawarra Dragons in top position, unbeaten. Followed by the Warriors, also unbeaten, in second position. Take a photo of that one. The Mighty Roosters in third position.
Not showing your bias there, are you?
Not at all.
No.
The Storm, won't say anything about them, in fourth. The Panthers in fifth. The Tigers still in sixth. The Broncos seventh, and the Knights round out the 8. Just below them are the Sea Eagles, followed by the Raiders.
The Rabbitohs.
Rabbitohs, sorry.
Excuse me.
So I always make that mistake. The Sharks in 11th, the Cowboys in 12th, the Bulldogs in 13th, the Titans in 14th, and the Raiders and the Eels bring up the bottom with no wins at all.
Oh,
Zip.
man.
Nada, zip.
That is terrible, isn't it?
Imagine
Imagine Parramatta on the bottom of the ladder.
All right. We now come to a time of questions without notice.
Yeah, well, I didn't hear about them, so...
That's because it's questions without notice.
I knew that.
You weren't supposed to hear about it. But all I want to talk about today is the breaking news this afternoon.
I knew it.
This is...
It's newsworthy.
Newsworthy. This is worth a discussion for at least 2 minutes because we're running out of time. News coming out today is that Manly have been fined $750,000 for breaching the salary cap.
Yes.
Bob Fulton, although they can't ban him because he's not an official.
I thought he stepped down from any official duties for...
Well, he has, but
Manly anyway.
Well, he has now. They would have taken action against him had he not.
Yep.
The ex-Manly CEO Joe Kelly has been suspended for 9 months and who's now with the Roosters.
Which makes it interesting for a CEO for us. So.
Yeah. Trent Barrett has been given an official warning.
Although he wasn't there when all this was going on.
Actually, he was.
No, he wasn't. Greenberg's actually come out and said, yeah, we know he had nothing to do with it, but hey, he can learn from it.
But he was there last year, and part of the problem was last year.
So
now, Manly also have to work 300,000 low the salary cap for the next 2 years.
660 below the salary cap. 330 this year, 330 next year.
Yeah.
$750,000 fine, $250,000 of that suspended, pending that they go through a rehabilitation process with the NRL.
But they were $1.5 million over.
But this is it. Can you tell me the last year were there clubs over the salary cap?
There were some clubs, but not
four clubs are over the salary cap, not including Manly.
Yeah.
The year before that,
There was 3 or 4.
There were 6 clubs over the
There you
salary
go.
cap.
Yep.
So
Look, it happens every
No,
year.
no,
but
no.
Most of it's
But this is the thing that frustrates me, because I've had Parramatta fans on my back all day. 1.5 million over 5 years between 13 players is 20 grand a player that was involved. Really?
Well, that's assuming every single player got a
cop
share.
a $500,000 fine.
Yeah,
Well, you're assuming every single player got a
Of the
extra
13
money.
players. Of
Yeah,
the
but
13
you
players
can't
that were
round out
involved.
the average.
Yeah, no, you can't.
No, no,
because one player might have got 150, one got 300, and another guy got nothing.
That's right.
Well, then
So you can't say-
nothing is nothing. That means he wasn't one of the 13.
Yeah,
But
that's
as
right.
a club,
So,
you were over.
So
That's right.
all I'm saying is that, you know what, realistically, it wasn't a lot.
Well, a lot of people are screaming as to why you don't lose points this year. But in all fairness, what they have found out is that Manly are not over the salary cap
No.
for 2018. So justifiably,
That's right.
you won't lose points.
had you
No.
got Mitchell Pearce, you would have been serious trouble.
The other thing is it wasn't actually the cap, it was those stupid third-party player arrangements.
And I keep
Again.
saying, put a cap on them.
I just say make him transparent.
But
and-
they'll hide them. That's the point.
Well, Joe Kelly will hide him. That guy. I'm not going to say anything that's going to upset you, Steve, but he's thinking about it. Who was in charge of Melbourne when they were over the cap and brought in the system? Kelly. Comes to Manly.
No, he wasn't.
Yeah, he was part of.
That was
Yeah, he was. He was part of that leadership team.
Waldron. That was Waldron.
Yeah, Joe Kelly was
Well,
there.
okay.
Was he?
Manly get him. We're over the cap.
Roosters. Yeah.
I got nothing more to say.
Well, you
But
know-
Nick
you know
Politis
what?
is clever.
But to
He's clever.
say that to ban him for 12 months, I think that man is very, very lucky.
9 months. Yes, I agree.
Yeah, very, very
I
lucky.
agree.
You know, that's the problem is, you know, I think it's a general thing that, you know, our society is where we're at the moment, whereas can I get away with it? Yeah, I'll do it. It doesn't matter whether it's right or wrong.
Yeah.
Right now, people who make these decisions are saying, can we get away with it? And the NRL sitting on their hands saying, oh, we've got rules in place. They know all the clubs are doing this and they're doing nothing to stop it. And it is so frustrating.
Look, I'm sorry. I question all the clubs are doing it.
All right, perhaps not all the clubs, but you talk to the general fans of the game and they
They
will
know
say,
nothing about the club's finances.
yeah, well, hang on. You know what? Manly weren't even under investigation for salary cap breaches. We're under investigation for match fixing.
And they
Well, it
found
doesn't matter.
it.
They still found evidence
Yeah.
of something, didn't they?
Yeah, but it was
So you
nothing
would have got
at
away
all.
with it had
That's
they not
right.
been looking at the match
And you know
fixing.
what? And no one would have known. The same as I'll guarantee you, as the same thing is happening at other clubs. The problem is that this is something that is wrong, and the NRL is not doing anything to fix it. They're
You're
being reactive instead of taking the lead and fixing the issue.
So put a team together and send them to every single club and analyse it exactly the same way as they did it with Manly.
yeah,
And I
but
tell you
in
what,
saying that, Manly were dumb about the way they did it.
sure.
Because it was involving match fixing. When the police investigated, they went to Scott Penn and said match fixing, and no.
Yeah.
He's gone, have all of our files, have all of our records.
Yeah.
And you're right, there was nothing with match fixing in there. No one told the owner of the club that there was some other serious issues there.
Yeah.
So, you know what? They're not going to find it unless the clubs volunteer that
And that's not
information.
going to happen.
So
Hang on, just go to our Facebook page, NRL from the Sidelines, and make a comment about what you think about this Manly issue. But not only that, maybe make a comment about should the NRL investigate further every single club. The point I have, gentlemen, with what's happened is Joe Kelly's now at the Roosters. And you know what? 80% of the comments on social media is check the Roosters because they have to be over the cap. There has to be a question over him now anyway. So they should say, okay, we're going to do it exactly the same way. Give us all your paperwork, give us all your phones, give us everything.
Yeah.
So you're going to single out the
documents.
Roosters, though.
No. We're singling out the person.
You started with it.
No, I just said
No.
we'll do it to everybody, but start with Joe Kelly.
Because Joe Kelly's the problem.
That's right.
So
did Joe Kelly start this season? Didn't he move over to the Roosters this season?
I can't remember. Was this
Because
season
we had
last
another
season?
guy from the Rabbitohs before
Yeah.
that who has a similar name, John Lee.
John Lee, Joe Kelly.
Well, they sound similar.
KL. It's in the alphabet.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, either way, yeah, you're right. Something needs to be done. I personally think the NRL should fix it
Okay.
and make these third party arrangements more transparent,
I agree.
and that'll
Right.
solve the problem.
Okay, we're running out of time. Manly to be sacked out of the competition for this year. Let's move on. Next Thursday, 1-300
You guys
Smiles.
are good at those big overstatements.
1-300 Smiles Stadium, North Queensland and Penrith Panthers, Thursday, 8:05. Gentlemen,
Yep.
who do you think?
It'll be 1-800 miles because 300 miles because the Panthers will not get near the Cowboys without Cleary, despite how poorly they're playing.
Bradley, please respond.
Sorry, mate. No Cleary, no Panthers, mate.
Well, it's
David,
time for Maloney to step up, isn't it?
He can't carry that team
he
on
can't
their
carry
own.
the team.
They've got a bunch of injuries though.
Yeah.
DWZ broken jaw. Cleary's out now. McKendry. They're actually starting to be affected by these.
I really
injuries.
felt sorry for Sam McKendry.
Yeah.
He's had such a bad injury run, and he was starting to look good.
Mm.
You know, a real shame.
And Michael Morgan back now. You have to go the Cowboys.
Tom?
Yeah, I think at home you have to go to the Cowboys.
Yeah, I've gone Cowboys.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to ANZ Stadium, Good Friday, South Sydney Rabbitohs and the Canterbury Bulldogs. Tips, gentlemen. Everybody's waiting. Look over there in TV land, everyone's waiting.
It's just so
I know it's a hard game, isn't it?
blah.
You think it's blah, he thinks it's a hard game. So you're sitting with splinters again, no doubt.
No, blah doesn't mean splinters. It's a lack of
Concern, care.
no, look, on current form, you'd have to say the Rabbitohs will win. Although, look, I think the Rabbitohs have shown enough to say maybe they're starting to hit their straps. The Bulldogs, I think, despite the fact that they you weren't impressed with them, I thought they're showing a bit of spark. I think so.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be a competitive game. It'll probably be an entertaining game.
I think Brett Morris has turned back a few years.
Yeah. Well, Josh Morris, I think. It was
No,
Josh.
Brett who scored, did it?
No, it was Josh.
Right away. Brett.
No, it was Josh in his 200th game.
Okay.
So, look, I think it'll be an entertaining game. I think it'll be close. But I
And-
think I'll be going to Rabbits.
Really? I actually think it'll be close, and I'm going to Dogs.
But that's because you always don't do what I say.
No. Look, but the reason
You're
is
starting
that
to feel a little bit out of it, eh?
No,
Tom?
I'm not.
the dogs have been fighting hard in every game. They
Yeah.
give nothing away, and the Rabbits have had one good game. Apart from that, they've been patchy, and if they're patchy, I don't think they can win. Which Rabbit shows up?
Okay.
The
Don't say it, Tom.
Yeah, what were you going to say? Tell me. Come on, tell me.
one in the Holy Grail or the other one? Or another one?
All right, let's move on to Southern Cross Group Stadium on Good Friday as well, where Cronulla Sharks play against the Melbourne Storm.
Wow.
The only minor chance that the Sharks have is good because it's at home, but I think the Storm will beat them.
Yeah,
It's,
Storm.
convincingly.
I hate picking the Storm, but I don't.
The way the Sharks are playing, you can't.
Well, Cronulla 2 losses, and then that game against Parramatta. You've got to go the Storm.
Yeah.
The Storm haven't been impressive, but
Yeah, they're really missing
winning.
Luke Lewis, and there was somebody else is out, I think.
absolutely.
Oh, Gallen was out and then in and then out and then in again or something else.
Yeah.
So who was the other guy? Who was the person who went out and then Gallen came back in again?
No, Maloney. Maloney didn't play.
And he doesn't play for the Sharks.
No, he plays for Penrith.
Oh, hang on. Who am I thinking? Oh, the other guy. Moylan. Sorry,
Oh,
Moylan.
Moylan.
Maloney. Sounds the same.
Yeah, it's just like, yeah.
Lean Kelly.
At least you got part of the alphabet right. Goodness. Okay, so this show now has to become
A, B,
ABC.
C.
Oh, that's so sad. What am I doing here? Okay, Saturday, Allianz Stadium, Sydney Roosters against the Warriors.
It's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be tough.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Now, the Warriors are only just scraping in each week.
Yeah, but they're showing a lot of resolve.
Yeah, they are.
You know, and that can only improve if they wanted to. I think they're going to give us a run for their money. I still think we've probably got enough firepower to beat them, but I don't think it's going to be easy. I think we'll win.
Right?
Oh, I'm going to go to the Roosters as well.
I'm tempted to go Warriors here.
So am I, but you can't pick them. Look, they're winning. I know they're leading the comp. They haven't lost a game, but I don't want to pick them. I really don't want to pick them.
Yeah, okay. All right, let's move on to Lotto Land, where the Manly Sea Eagles will be playing the Canberra Raiders.
You have to be winning this game, sure.
Well, we have to. It's Fortress Brookvale again. The winless Raiders versus the mighty Eagles.
And I'll tell you what, the winless Raiders are going to turn up pretty desperate.
Yeah.
It's not a good time to be meeting them.
They're winless. You know what? I want to go to this game. I want to go to this game because my club's on the verge of 900 wins. Now, I know that you've done it, Steve. I know the Rabbitohs haven't won 900.
Yes, they have.
We've won 1,000.
Yeah, the Roosters have.
Yeah, so have South.
The Roosters have. The Dogs have.
No, Souths have won 1,000.
And Souths, yeah. Sorry, yeah, you're right.
Thank you.
Souths are the third team. Yeah, so we'll be the fourth.
We were first, though.
You've been playing for longer.
Mm.
So,
Same
percentage of wins, we're way up ahead of you guys because, you know, as Steve tells me, we've got no history.
It's called modern history.
900 wins, go the Eagles.
I must make a point about the Raiders. I watched the press conference, and it was typical Ricky Stewart, blaming the refs, not talking about his team. But I have real concerns, and I might be just going over the board. And, you know, I bag Ricky Stewart because I think that I don't know what it is about it. I just don't like his attitude when they're losing. But I have real concerns about him losing the dressing room. And I mean, I know it's an outlandish statement, but, you know, him getting depression or something like that because he wears his heart so massively on his sleeve. I just worry about him, honestly. And I hope that, you know, I hope his mates are around him because I just worry for him.
And you're going to go the Eagles?
Yeah, I'll go the Eagles.
Thank you.
Okay, Wynn Stadium on Sunday afternoon, St George Illawarra and the Newcastle Knights.
I'm going for the Illawarra Steelers.
You can't stop the juggernaut at the moment.
Yep.
I hate saying that, Barry, but...
Oh, I'm loving it. Go Illawarra.
Until they play you.
No, you're not listening to what he's saying.
Right, okay. Oh, Illawarra.
Sorry, Barry.
You'll be getting some caustic comments.
Yeah.
Hey, look, he's been giving it to us, so don't you worry.
Yeah.
His team's got 3 wins and he thinks he's going to a grand final.
Okay.
Did you see that graphic that Bradley Jet put up? For those who don't know, there was a fellow who turned up to the ticket booth with a Dragons jersey on, and the person behind the counter says, "I'm sorry, grand final tickets don't go out on sale for at least 3 months."
Yeah. Follow us on Facebook, you'll find the comments there.
Yeah.
Very good.
Okay, after that we have Suncorp Stadium, Broncos against the Gold Coast Titans.
You ready? I'm going the upset.
Oh no, sorry.
Really?
Yes.
No, you can't.
Yep.
You'd be crazy.
I'm going the upset because the Titans have to be desperate. The Broncos are playing out of form. And what are they going to do if they're not playing on Friday night? Titans for me.
Oh, wow.
For the one upset of the round.
No, sorry, Broncos for me.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll have to tip the Broncos.
Monday game. We're back to a Monday game. Just once.
Well, that'll be interesting. Oh, it's a public holiday.
Public holiday.
So,
Yeah, West Tigers against the Parramatta Eels at ANZ Stadium.
You just wonder whether the Eels are ever going to possibly turn this around.
Nope. Go the Tigers.
Well, that's just hate from you.
No, it's not.
That's not objective.
No, seriously.
Not objective.
They've been terrible, and Haynes out and Bevan French is out.
Yeah.
And Bo Scott looks like he's playing busted.
And
And you hate Parramatta.
Moses is not playing well at all.
Moses is terrible. Corey Norman doesn't look like he knows what he's doing out there because I just don't, you can't pick him surely.
I'm just my only reservation is, can they go through the whole season playing this bad?
No. They'll come good at some point.
Well, this could be the week.
It won't be this week.
Okay.
Well, that's
and look, I actually
Parramatta.
think I might actually go Tigers as well. I'll be honest with you.
I'm
I think
probably
they're
in the
playing
end
well.
going to go Tigers, but I'd like to think the Eels might turn things around.
All right, gentlemen, we come to the end of our show. Any last points very quickly before we head off?
Oh, there was something I wanted to say, but I'm not going to.
Okay. Tom?
Well, very satisfying weekend. I'm looking forward to more of the same for the Roosters.
Well, at least the two of us are winners. Okay.
I didn't say that.
Loser.
That's back to front, you know.
Okay, thank you everyone for joining us. You are watching NRL from the Sidelines with Tom, Brian and Steve. Please go to our Facebook page if you wish to make any comments. And have a great week. Have a great week, gentlemen.
See ya.
We'll see you all later.
See ya.
Bye.